If you can hear this, do not adjust your Aethervox. This is the Avalon Society Emergency Broadcast Network. You're listening to a recount of the real events surrounding the catastrophe which occurred in the city of London at the end of May 1907. Spring-Heeled Jack, the nefarious Neverborn Nephilim, has absconded with a number of antiquated artifacts from the London Museum to be used in a ritual to return to the realm of Malifaux. However, our persistent protagonists from the Avalon Society are not deterred. After investigating the trail left by their insidious foe, they've managed to track down the tumultuous thief to his hideout atop the mighty Big Ben. But with the skies outside darkening and a storm brewing overhead, are our heroes too late? Stay tuned to find out in today's episode of London Falls.
G'day, guys, and welcome. My name is Michael, and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer, and welcome to episode 5 of Avalon Society London's Fall, our Through the Breach adventure. I'll get it right one day. Our Through the Breach adventure that follows the story of five unlikely fated heroes who have been traveling around London and attempting to try and solve a great mystery that has been hanging over the city over these last few weeks. Joining us, of course, is our star-studded cast of wonderful and awesome players who will introduce not only themselves, but the awesome characters that they will be playing. Starting, of course, with none other than the terrifying, the intimidating, the yet wonderfully soft and genteel Myri playing Ludovica. Hello, Myri.
Oh, I thought that was the description of my character, but I'll take frightening
Oh,
any
it's definitely
day.
no, definitely
Hi.
don't cross Myri in a dark alley.
Hi, I'm Myri. I am the face and the voice of the German YouTube channel and Twitch channel Orkensparta TV, where we play role-playing games, tabletop stuff, nerdy things. And I'm playing Ludovica von Droste zu Möllenbeck, who used to be a German lesser noble. Her husband was a mad scientist. Now she's undead and working for another undead scientist. And right now she just wants to get out of London and get her friend, the prima donna Hortensia, to come along.
All right. And speaking of the prima donna, let's of course pass the ball over to Janet from World Anvil, who plays the lovely prima donna Hortensia Fiddlewick. Hello, Janet.
Hello, I caught the ball. Did I win something?
You did. You get to win an introduction and a biography for your character.
Yay! Okay, so I am Janet from World and thank you, darling. Yes, of course it was
Bravo,
me.
bravo.
I am Janet from World Anvil, the ultimate world building platform and campaign manager. If you don't know it, go check it out. It's nice, it's fun, it's got anvils in it, and yeah, it'll help you do stuff. And I am playing a prima donna, Hortensia Fiddlewick, who is a lady of great celebrity. She is an opera singer, of course, the prima donna, the first lady of the opera house, currently face to face with a demon. I'm trying to think of a polite way to say crap in her pants, but I'm gonna say crap in her pants. Yeah, she's also desperate to get out of London, never more so than now, as again facing a demon, eye to eye. Think the sky just opened. Lots of things are going on in 1907 alt London. It's a good time not to be there. It's kind of what I'm saying. Yeah. So we're gonna see what happens next.
No better time to be leaving London. And of course, speaking of those who have a desire to, of course, vacate the premises of the city centre, none other than Professor John Scarpati, played by the ever wonderful and ever lovely Till. Hello, Till.
Hello, everyone. Hi, I'm Till from Dungeon Fog, the map-making software, the online map-making software, and I'm playing Professor John Scarpati, an old archaeology professor. At least that is what he pretends to be, mostly trying to, get away from his shady background as a smuggler and a dealer, and trying to, live a peaceful life now, but he needs to get out of London first. And here we are.
Indeed, indeed. And like with all good and sensible, people trying to undergo a rather big task, there is, of course, the aid and the care of a particular assistant to John Scarpati. That is none other than the gremlin known as Billum, played by the ever wonderful Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Oh, pleasure to be here. Yes, I am Anthony, otherwise known as Vegemite Dangerous, from the Twitch channel Roll for Damage, an Australian D&D channel. And I play Billum, who is not a goblin, he is a gremlin. Little green, I'm going to say bastardo, who has been on the long con with Mr. Scarpati for some time now, seeing that he is an elderly man trying to take advantage and procure a household. However, he is now tied up in this demon business.
Indeed, and that is our entire cast. So, so we'll get started. Oh wait, no, sorry, there was one more I did forget. That is, of course, none other than the rather lovely but remarkably forgettable Edward Hardgrey Montague, who's played by none other than the unforgettable Guy from How to Be a Great Game Master. Hello, Guy.
Hello, Michael. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Tell us a little bit about Edward and your adventures with him.
Well, I'm afraid Edward's very forgettable because he sort of blends into the background and he's very snuffly and doesn't really do very much except when he shouts objection from time to time because, of course, he's a barrister, he's a lawyer. So he runs around trying to litigate everything and make little contracts, which he has quite a lot of, considering the fact that we've only been playing for how many sessions now? 5
This is the
sessions?
fifth one. We haven't even played the fifth one. This is the
We
fifth
haven't
one.
played the fifth one yet. So he's got his objection paper, which he brings up whenever he can. And he's basically here just to make as much money from his clients as he possibly can. He has a contract with the prima donna to put on an opera, which is currently, unfortunately, failing, but that's okay. We're going to sue the city for disruption owing to a divine intervention of some nature. He represents Professor Scarpati in his legitimate trading industry of artifacts found in foreign countries that really don't count as grave robbing because they're foreign. And he's currently working on some kind of way of getting there to be a little representation for the dead, because he's fairly certain that if you're dead, you take your money with you in this case. So there's got to be money to be made there somehow. And the gremlin, well, the gremlin is useful, but he hasn't yet worked out if it's legally binding when you sign a contract with a gremlin. So he's looking into that too. Oh, and he's on the trail of this demon, which, you know.
I mean, after all, it is called human rights. So, I mean, there you go.
Well, it's a question of, can property own property? Can one be owned by one's toaster, for example?
Well, I'm not a toaster.
No, you're
No,
quite
he's definitely
right.
not a
Toaster has
toaster. I've
use.
tried that and it was burned all the time.
There are definitely some moments where I've likened Billum to a plank. So, I mean... Anyway, I digress. Let us commence with today's adventure as we find ourselves high above the city of London, atop the crest of Big Ben, within the clock tower itself, overlooking the grand city. But we're not going to be starting from the face of the clock where we left our group. We're going to be climbing a little higher. High in the belfry of the Tower of Big Ben, in a small and secluded attic-like space, there is a dark ritual underway. A circle of a demonic nature that has been carved into the woodwork, and 5 figures that seem to be trussed up at the cardinal demonic points along this circular runes that has been laid out in front of you. Lights flickering from black candles are the only source of illumination here, as we join Professor John Scarpati, currently bound within a cocoon of some kind. As you slowly regain consciousness, Professor Scarpati, you can look around and see 4 other individuals, equally about, full-grown adult size. You don't see any children or anything like that. One appears to be a blonde woman who, sort of bears a striking resemblance to that Harry Hawthorne individual you spoke to before, in the sense that they are dressed in the mannerisms of a journalist. The other 3 look quite undistinguishable. One of them appears to be kind of like this trade union worker. Another appears to be a guild guardsman. And the last appears to be a rather rotund nobleman of some kind. But all of them, like yourself, bound. As you regain consciousness, what do you do?
That was painful. Okay, I would like to, well, I assess the situation a little bit. Do I see my kidnapper?
You do not. You recall the sight of your kidnapper, a man dressed in kind of like nobleman's attire with blue fur covering their skin, and what you thought was the prominence of two bone-like horns from its head.
Okay. Do the others seem awake?
No, they seem to have remained unconscious for the time being.
Okay. In that case, I would like to. What is the cocoon made of?
Looking at it, it appears to be made of some sort of slimy ichor of some kind. The ichor is a translucent gel that has kind of almost a blackish tinge to it. If you imagine sort of like obsidian, I guess, very similar but slightly more viscous.
Okay. I will wiggle a little bit to test its strength. Now I'm 65 years old. I'm not really a strong person anymore. So I will try to reach my pocket and get out, because I have a Swiss Army knife, and I would like to, well, try to cut myself. I will start cutting on the slime.
Okay, make an athletics check with disadvantage due to your advanced age, as you attempt to saw through this slimy sludge-like stuff. All right, we see a 7 of masks and a 10 of masks. So your 10 of masks is our prominent. So what does that make your athletics?
Well, that is terrible. I can tell you that already. Would that be? I'm sorry. What is athletics? I think you mean
might, if you don't have any
might.
ranks in it.
Yeah, and I take the 7, right? So that would be a 5.
Mm-hmm. All right. So with a 5, as you begin to cut your way through, you slowly but surely do make your way as the cocoon slices open. It is, however, a very slow and arduous process. As you are probably about a quarter of the way through, you look around you, and you can actually see set into the angled rooftop that lies above where you are. There are these kind of windows that lead out and onto the roof exterior. You could see around you the skies of London, which were up until recently a starry sky with this kind of an orange illumination from the burning man that glows high above London, has suddenly become overcast. It is almost barely visible, the stars above and the orange light. Something has happened outside as you hear the sounds of thunder crackling in the distance, getting closer and closer.
No,
Meanwhile,
great. Now I'm getting wet.
Meanwhile, down back in the bell tower, our 4 fated characters, Edward, Billum, Ludovica, and Hortensia, are confronted by the demon known as Spring-Heeled Jack, a Nephilim Neverborn, who seems to have a look on his face that you can relate not with hunger or instinct or violence, but a cunning and a fear. Survival instincts, the desire to live. These are the expressions you see on the creature as it looks to you and says, "It is too late. I must return. You will not stop me."
Return where?
I seek to return to the Badlands of Malifaux. But to
Why
do
would you
so,
want
I
to go
need...
there?
It is home. The home of my people.
Well, get on then. Get it.
Well, Billum, darling, I think the point is that he's going to cause a little hole in the the space-time continuum, not to put too fine a point on it, or some such nonsense. So, what if, lovely Jack, what if we just arranged your passage and you could go back, and then you didn't have to rip a hole in the world? Wouldn't that be better? Wouldn't that be less annoying? You know, less messy, darling. Come on, darling. I'm sure.
Fleshy humans are like children, blind, deaf. Do you not feel it in the air? Do you not smell it on the wind? This world is not long. The world tears itself apart at the seams.
Oh, I thought that
I
was film.
intend not to stay, and I do not care how much blood must be spilt for this. Though you don't attack like those mindless ones who wear the insignia of the ram.
Oh,
For
they're
this,
awful.
I will afford you a chance. Leave this place and flee. Allow me to continue my work, and I will not intervene in you or this horrible place's fate.
I hold up a cease and desist document, and then I shoot him through it.
Oh, nice. All right. You're going to get an advantageous flip because, of course, A, he is absolutely not expecting this. And B, he was absolutely, and in my head, I imagine he was legitimately leaning forward to try and read that.
As were we all.
Yeah.
Oh, thank
So that
goodness
is
there
a-
was advantage there. Okay.
Oh.
Blackjack.
Nice. So that is an 11 of tomes as your bullet rings out and strikes him square in the, well, I mean, to use a British term, square in the bracket. As you fire,
Grand
flip
total
your-
of 12.
a 12, eh? Okay, so with a 12, that would bring us to. That would bring us to a negative flip. So flip 2 cards and take the lowest for the damage.
Oh, well, it's a 9 or a red joker.
Well, guess what? The red joker trumps all flips, even in a negative flip scenario, which means you land a critical blow. So you know when I said he leaned in forward? Oh yeah, you have copped him square in the face as the bullet has sounded out. Now, as this happens, there is a lot of stuff that happens here. So please bear with me while I pull every little tiny piece up. The first is that you do your maximum damage on the weapon +1.
4. No, wait.
Okay.
Hang on. BD rockets. I've got, it says 6 here, but I don't understand why it would be 6.
If it says 6, you probably have a positive from something else.
No, I don't think so. I think it might just have been filled in correctly.
All right. Well,
I think
in any case, if it's 5,
no, I put the damage where the range should be and the range where the damage should be. So I think it's 3.
Oh yeah, that
Alright.
makes sense. Pistol range
Yeah.
is 6.
Yeah.
right.
The damage is-
Although,
that's 4.
considering your character, that might still work. Oh, I misfiled the damage.
Yes.
All right. So that is 6 points of damage. Now, the first 6 points of damage, that just straight goes through. He is definitely not in a good way in any way, shape, or form. Because you landed a critical hit, in addition to that, you will also generate a critical effect. Now, this severe critical effect imparts a permanent penalty on this individual, which can only be removed by surgery, which, of course, he's not in a great space to do. So, could you flip another card for me, please, and tell me what you get?
Oh, a 13.
Ooh, mama.
All right. He is shot square in the head. Well, that actually works out perfectly. And he is now in agonizing pain. His agonizing pain means that he permanently generates 1 less action per turn in combat. I guess we you know what? No, let's go with this. As you shoot him in the face, he reels backwards, clutching the hole that now sort of embeds himself. He's lost an eye. It's gone straight through and out the back. He holds on to the weeping wound as this black blood falls from his eye socket and sizzles on the ground, creating this kind of acidic and caustic bubbling. As he sort of spits, he says, "Ah, I knew it. Filthy humans. You will get what's yours." And he takes flight, flying into the air. As he does so, we are going into an ongoing challenge. This ongoing challenge is you scaling the top of Big Ben to get up to the attic area, and doing so before he arrives to begin or complete the ritual. For this, in order to succeed, you will need to make 4 successful checks before you fail twice. The target number that you will need to receive is a 10, of which you may use the following skills, which I will write down so you guys can see as well, which are, let me just write that down properly. There we go. So, athletics.
Nah.
Come on, you. There we go. Athletics, acrobatics,
Hmm.
and let's go with or any ranged combat duel. Now, the ranged combat duel is less about shooting and injuring this individual than to try and slow him down, to stop his ascent as you are chasing after him. So anything that would be constituted as a ranged combat duel, you may also use this to try and impede their motions. All right. Who would like to go first?
Well,
I want just to point out, I feel a lot more comfortable in my cocoon right now.
You're about halfway down now as you sort of cut through.
Yeah.
You hear the sounds of this gunshot from below. Cut a little bit faster, like okay, just.
Prima Donna, you want to try something?
Yes, I want to shoot this thing, I think.
Very well. Make your ranged combat attack as you fire your pistol up at this individual.
I do that.
Target number is 10.
Yes. Well, I mean, technically, I feel the fates are with me. I feel that yes, definitely there's something in the air that will help me. So I cheat.
Very well. You cheat, and as you do so, the bullet lands and ricochets off a lantern that is in front of him. As he's flying upwards, the flare of fire suddenly startles him as he slows down and pulls backwards. He looks back down towards you and says, "Ah, the death throes of a dying race."
Darling, your face is leaking. You're leaking, darling. Why don't you just sit down and we can talk all this out? Or oh, yes, all that could happen. Yes, darling. Okay. Still leaking, lovely.
Very much leaking. The creature continues to fly back up. Who's next?
Well, I'm not as fast as I used to be, ever.
Back in boarding school, didn't you used to do the rowing thing? I feel like that's a no.
Oh, there's an inappropriate joke I could make about the person.
Oh my goodness, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Oh yeah. Well, that's what it was too. Okay, so here we go. Let's roll the cards, and I'm going to cheat because it really doesn't matter what I draw here. So he's going to try and run up the stairs as fast as he can, and realize that that's just silly. So he's going to, because there's ropes around.
Mhm.
Okay, he kicks one of the rope stays which are holding the ropes in place, grabs the rope and hopes that it's going to pull him up to the next story because he can't run up those stairs possibly, and he's going to do that by cheating with a jack.
Nice. So that is an 11 of tomes, and yes, sure enough, you kick the housing that is currently binding one of the ropes to the floor that you're on. Holding on to it, it very swiftly lifts you up onto the platform above. It is almost like watching you know those like old you know those old little toys that you used to have. They used to be hands that were made of like jelly or something, and you used to stick it to things. That's basically the kind of inertial effect you see as Hargrave begins to move. It's almost like his feet move last as he stretches upwards and then suddenly whips to catch up as he lands on the platform above.
See you later, bitches.
All right, you know what? Gain a Eddie. Can we put a fate point on Hargrave for that one? I will pay that. That was hilarious. Okay. Oh, speaking of fate points, by the way, Eddie, please make sure to let the audience know how they can join in and participate in the game today as well. I forgot to do that, but do that for me. All right, that leaves 2 left. We have 2 successes and no failures. So who would like to go next?
I would like to try and run up and try and grab on to Edward. That's weird. Grab on to Edward's legs as he's flying up.
All right, you try to grab on to Edward's legs as he's about to fly upwards. All right.
Oh, that's terrible.
No, wait. I object.
All right, so I've got to ask a question. So do you object to him grabbing your legs, or do you object to him failing to grab your legs? Because, you know, you could always give him a swift kick, and that would object to him grabbing them.
I suspect that he probably gave a swift kick, which actually brings the boot closer than anything else, considering.
Very
So
well.
I'm going to discard a card to use the power.
Very well. By discarding a card, Edward allows the objection to pass, which has changed and altered fate. Billum, you have not rolled the one, flipped the one. Instead, you may flip again and ignore the one that you have just done. You now have a 2. You've become double effective.
This is why the gremlins are a subspecies. You see,
Well, I disagree with that. I actually think that we're much more evolved.
That's also something you shouldn't say in that accent.
I would
All
like
right.
very much to
So-
use my fate
All right,
and
now,
turn
if
that
I'm not
kick into a swift flip.
all right, now if I'm not mistaken, that 11 was the card that you put aside as part of your wastrel ability.
That is,
So you will need to discard a card to use it. But
will.
yes, by all means, you manage to as you sort of grab onto his boot, you pull off his boot, you grab onto his sock, you pull off his sock, and then with like sort of your teeth almost, you grab onto the bottom of Hargrave's cloak that's sort of billowing behind him as his robes sort of yank and yoink you up to the next platform as well.
if I can, I'll pocket the sock.
Make a pickpocket challenge.
Absolutely. Pickpocket. Oh, yeah. That'll be an 18.
All right. What do you mean an 18?
I have a 7.
That's a 0.
Oh, it's a joker. Whoops, that's a 7.
That's a black joker, that is. That is fate working against you in a terrible way. So
Aha.
as as you attempt to pocket the sock, it is at this point you realize that you have a hole in your pocket. What items are you currently carrying?
I have on me very little. I have my garrote wire, my fighting claw, 5 flasks of moonshine, and a hip flask of moonshine.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's super easy. So those flasks of moonshine, as you are whipped quite violently into the air, drop to the ground and shatter. As they do so, they spread your moonshine across the floor. And you can see the ritualistic candles that surround the circle that was made suddenly catch and slowly begin to spread across the floor quite rapidly.
I didn't
Ludwika,
do it.
what would you like to do?
I'm the one still down there with a now suddenly moonshine drenched burning floor. So Ludovica goes, I can't believe it. This is just because I set someone on fire with moonshine. I hate this universe. She gathers her skirts and very primly tick, 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 wants to go up the stairs and vent her frustrations by shooting at the gargoyle.
All right, make a ranged combat duel as you again try to shoot to slow down this individual. Oh, easy done. You managed to slow him down enough that by the time he arrives,
Yeah, that's 16.
16's perfect. By the time he arrives at the top platform, Scarpati, you have cut yourself free and are standing at the top of the attic as this winged demon with a hole in its head. Basically, you can see clearly straight through it. Sees you and he's angered. He is enraged. He says, "No, you must remain. The ritual must be complete." As the rest of you clamber up the stairs, there's now a bright orange light glowing from the stairwell beneath you. And if you can imagine, at the center of this room, pretty much behind where the ritual has been set up, there is more of that glowing light down the main shaft of Big Ben. Scarpati, do you say anything as you see your comrades emerge?
I'm free now, so I would. Can I see how is the ritual drawn on the floor? Is that chalk or is that
it is
color?
kind of like okay, so it has been scratched and filled with blood that has necrotized.
Okay, I can't scruff away some of that. Okay, in that case, I will just step a few steps back, from so that I'm breaking out of the circle. And I see the others coming up, so I would be like, "Oh, great! You're right on time, Billum. You didn't, by any chance, find my gun on the way here?"
I think so.
Yeah, right. Well, Edward.
Edward shakes the cloth. Billum, your teeth kind of loses purchase as you rip out a bit of fabric, which is still in your mouth.
As my barrister, Mr. Hartigue, would you please hand me your gun?
Yes, of course, absolutely. The cape, unfortunately, will be an expense, but yes, absolutely. Go ahead, shoot that infernal
I would just
beast.
like to take the gun for one shot, just aim at the thing and say, that's for hitting me, and shoot at him, and then I would like to hand the gun back.
All right. As you do this, the creature has moved its way in towards the center of the room. As it does so, your shot rings out. Make your attack as you fire upon him.
Well, so that's a 15 to hit.
All right, with a 15, that strikes with a negative flip.
We are going to suffer later. This deck has thrown out all of the suits. Look at that.
All right,
That,
so that is a 7. So medium damage on your pistol.
That's 3 damage.
All right. As you fire, you shoot, and the creature takes a shot straight to the heart before falling backwards onto the ritualistic circle. Its black blood flowing into like a puddle and a pool across it. You watch as the candles disappear and extinguish around you. What do you do?
Well, thank you, Montagrave, for your gun. Very appreciative. I got your pigeon, and I was trying to catch up when this fellow knocked me out and intercepted me. So can you fill me in? What's out? I think there are still some people here that we need to free.
Wait, have we won? Is it over?
Well, it looks like I shot it.
What do you think, Madam Mullenbeck?
If we should shoot it.
No. Have we won? It's dead. Isn't that the end of Jack?
That may be the end of Jack, but doesn't mean it's the end of the ritual. And Madame Molenbeek hunkers down and looks at the lines in the ground and around. Where's the soul stone that's powering Big Ben? That was the thing that brought us here.
That is an excellent question. You look up, and as you turn your gaze skyward, you can see that there was indeed a housing unit for a brilliant and powerful soulstone that used to be in the air. You don't see it anywhere.
I think we're missing a few bits here.
But
Also, we shouldn't stay here because someone set the tower on fire. And she very pointedly looks at Billum.
I didn't know such a thing.
Well, I wasn't the one carrying a flask of moonshine and spreading it around.
I'll have you know it's not my moonshine. I'm going to discard one of my cards and find my hidden stash. See? Mine's already.
Either way, if you think we're done here, I suggest, Prima Donna, that we exit stage right.
Yes, omnes exeunt might be the thing. I think that we should go find Trelawney and tell him that we're done. We've done what we said we'd do. I think it's out of London for all of us. No?
Well,
I would like to. Oh,
so I absolutely agree. I still feel though we should, if you look around, you will see that there are other people here still in their cocoons. I think we should get them out with us.
Wait a moment.
Other people. Yes, fine. I suppose other people are important too.
Anyone have a
Also,
knife?
Yeah, I have one. It's not very efficient though.
Yeah. Rather tiny.
What I don't understand, as I'm helping try and cut some, what was Spring-Heeled Jack's link to the glowing man in the sky?
Well, he was talking in rather forceful terms about getting out before this world completely fell apart. I would assume he was intending to become a refugee from a dying world. That's what he said. So perhaps he was fleeing along with the rest of us. No?
Didn't he just want to go home? Isn't that what you all just want anyway?
It
Well,
appears so. So, no, we're not done. This was just a tiny speck of danger compared to the rather big glowing thing in the sky. No?
which we don't have to be here for.
As you discuss and cut free the several cocoons that surround you, the people slowly begin to regain consciousness. As they do, one of them introduces themselves as Harriet Hawthorne, a blonde woman who, of course, bears the resemblance of the woman that you had been seeking, the woman who was supposed to be speaking with Mrs. Otterman, who was on the heels of Spring-Heeled Jack. As she regains consciousness, she looks at you and she says, I say, it's... Where am I? Who are you people?
It's a remarkably good wig, I must admit. If I didn't know any better, but I do think the cleavage is a bit off.
Pardon? Do you grab her?
No.
Oh, just checking, that's all.
Just passing
Outlining boundaries. She says, I beg your pardon, this wig?
Oh, don't mind him. And Ludovica grabs one of the filthy locks of Hargrave's wig and pulls it down so it goes over his eyes. Mr. Hargrave is not very good at spotting the obvious things, being used to obfuscating all the time. Good work. And we might be interested in information that you have already gathered in exchange for getting you out of here. By the way, the tower is burning.
As she looks around, she goes, "No, I can't be here. We can't be here. He's mad. He was trying to open up a hole."
Yeah, well, we've opened up a few holes in him now, if you look at him.
No, you don't understand. You don't understand. The reason he was able to do so was because she sort of, where's my bag? My bag. everyone can make a notice check if they wish to look around the room and see if they notice Harriet Hawthorne's
I'm good
effects.
at noticing.
Willem, where is the bag?
The bag.
If you wish to assist, you may add the ranks that you have in notice to another player. That is also permitted.
I will assist because my notice is terrible. I give +1.
I have
will
an
assist.
11 while flipping a 6.
All right,
If that's
an
not
11?
enough, I can cheat.
That's okay.
I'm,
Does anyone
I've-
get higher
I'm
than 11?
already, yeah, I'm already at 16. If I get assistance, I'm at 17.
All
I
right,
will
16.
absolutely assist.
Show
16 is
off.
perfectly fine. You can see that there is a big pile of discarded clothes and backpacks and the like. There is also like sort of torn, like as if people had been ripped apart, the blood-stained clothes and stuff also in this pile. Searching through it, you find a small collection of 50 script in total from wallets and the like. You also find a small medallion. This medallion, you feel, may possibly have some sort of magical properties. You have found a grimoire, which we will discuss later on should a magician wish to make use of it. Yes,
Is this
on.
the medallion that was at the Museum of London?
it is
I'm assuming
indeed.
there was a description there. Yes. Okay.
It is
so we
indeed
found
the
that.
medallion from London.
The one that creates lights. Yes.
Yes.
So it's glowing.
So I'm sorry.
very
I'm sorry.
dimly.
I think I am the one who's opening the bag. So what medallion? I don't know what you're talking about because I was handing the medallion at least and the or I was trying to, because that is what Professor Scarpati would do, trying to take the medallion and the script and hand them over to Bill without anyone else noticing.
All right. Very well.
You-
If you wish to do so, I will allow you to make a choice of either a pickpocket or a stealth check to do so unnoticed.
I will
Pickpocket.
scrutinize the hell out of you.
Oh, sorry, that's the full deck.
If
I
you're gonna
would
make
go
a
for-
pickpocket, could I possibly assist him with my quick little fingers?
You may assist if you wish to, Billum. What's your ranks in pickpocket?
7.
Ranks, just your ranks.
Oh, 3.
3. Okay, so you get a +3.
Yeah, okay, that will put me at 10.
10. So everyone, the target number would be a 10. If you wish to, oh wait, sorry. Before that, do you wish to cheat that in any way before anyone else flips?
Yeah, I think this is my. I would like to make this.
Sure. All right. So
a 15.
okay, so 15 is the challenge. Now you can also opt not to flip as well. That is entirely up
Oh,
to you.
sorry, I need my card back.
I gave it back to you. It's over there.
Oh, thank you.
I draw a 3 and I cheat with a 10, which brings me up to 15. Does
All
anyone
right.
want to assist?
Anyone who
I'm
wishes to
looking at
assist
the
may.
fire.
Go with the 15, but 15 will hit. If you, as long as you meet the DC, you will spot it. So yes, Ludovica, you do spot the handoff of the wallets and the medallion. Scarpati, you also find the bag of the journalist. Do you hand it back to her?
Yeah, that would be my move. I would be like, I found your bag. So
She'll quickly move over and go start rifling through it. Meanwhile, Prima Donna and Edward, a couple of the other people, the union worker, sort of wakes up and looks over at Hortensia and says, "Hey, ain't you that woman what said words on the big pavilion thing?"
No, darling, you're in heaven. I'm an angel.
Oh, that's right good, isn't it? Here I was
Indeed.
thinking I was a bit of a plonker, but I guess I've done something right if I've ended up in somewhere where there's beautiful angels and the like. How's about a
Well,
kiss?
We are non-corporeal, you know. Come, darling. We should make
Had a
pace.
cousin
The
with that
tower
once.
is burning, darlings. Burning.
Wait.
Yes, with fire. Shall we go?
He panically goes, yeah. You watch as the stairwell down is burning. The second person, who is of course a nobleman, is being helped by Edward. He's dressed in quite fine attire, fine robes, and lots of gold medallions. He says, "Pardon me, good sir, but I believe that I have misplaced myself. I should be in Lexington at the moment. Do you have the time? I have a very important meeting with my attorney at law."
Well, I'm afraid your attorney at law will have missed you, which means you probably need a new one. So whilst you're getting your wits about yourself, my lord, might I suggest that you just sign very quickly this little document over here, because you've been the subject of a horrific crime against all things that are just and honourable. And as a Londoner, you'll be liable to receive a certainly large sum of money. And I myself am a lawyer and someone who's saved your life. So I feel it's only a honourable thing to do would be to sign.
Well, you see, my previous lawyer didn't save my life before.
Well,
Yes.
exactly.
With his addled mind, you may make a bureaucracy check with a positive flip as as you attempt to swindle this dude very quickly for your nominal fee.
All right. Positive flip is a jack.
And a 7. So we're gonna go
So
with the
it's-
11.
You're at 15.
Yeah, he just signs it straight away. Just, "Oh, well, I guess, saving a chap's life is really sporting, eh? What?" So there we go.
Yeah, thank you so much,
He
Lord.
has like 5 different names, which ends in the number 7th.
Oh, man after my own heart.
as you sign that, the last individual who was a guild guardsman is sort of getting his bearings. As he leans on the window, he looks outside. He sort of says he's about to say something, but before he's able to, you all hear a noise coming from from nearby.
You hear that?
That sounds remarkably like steam-powered armor or similar things. Anyways, I can't believe, she looks around, everyone is faffing about while this damn tower burns. How about finding a way down?
Thank you.
All right. You quickly survey the area to try and figure out if there's a way down. Looking at the window
Yes.
that the guild guardsman happens to be on, you can see outside the London skies are covered, roiling with these clouds that hang so low that some of the rooftops have been swept by this bank of fog and lightning. Red and orange lights crackle through it, pulsing with almost like a living rhythm, like the way you would see synapses firing off in a brain. You would see these lights cascading. Suddenly, go.
The Times is going to be embarrassed. They said no rain today.
Suddenly, you see. How do I describe this? You see a ring of nothingness, an empty void that hangs in the air, like darkness, an emptiness, a depth to it that you have never seen before. One, then another, then another, then another, and another and another, all of different sizes and shapes, all in different orientations, each a disc of some variety. And suddenly, and without warning, atop the streets of London, a deluge of water forces its way out with the sound of a crashing mountain exploding onto the streets. You watch as buildings are extinguished in an instant, ripped into pieces as the shearing waves of water that crash through tear the roofs clean off. Streets are stripped bare. Plants and trees are uprooted from parks all around London. The Thames suddenly turns into this roiling cascade of water as it flows even faster. You've always seen the Thames as kind of this kind of grayish, brownish murk, but it is now crystal clear and blue as this almost frigid cold water crashes into the Thames. The bridges themselves that had hundreds of people, thousands of people gazing in a fanatical way towards the burning man in the sky, are instantaneously removed. They were simply there one moment and then gone the next. Lights in the streets flicker off, and there is the sound of screaming and panic coming from everywhere. From high atop Big Ben, most of the portals seem to be central towards London, but more are spreading and appearing in different places. You watch as the tidal wave, about half the height of Big Ben, starts to make its way towards you as the Thames is rushing forward. It is getting closer and closer.
Well, that'll solve our fire problem, I suppose.
Probably. Brace yourselves.
All right, do you guys
And-
brace?
And she does quite that, yeah.
All right. You grab onto the nearest, sort of scaffold or bit of wood or whatever have you. And as you place your hands firmly, trying to hold yourself, there is this deafening roar that winds up to this huge, colossal crash. Water sprays up high as you feel the entire ground beneath you shift almost 10 degrees. So the floor is no longer flat, but on a stilt as the water collides with the large tower. Everyone needs to make me an acrobatics or an athletics check in order to try and maintain their brace. Everyone, because you braced, may make a positive flip on this. Please place your cards in front of your characters just so that I know who's flipped what. So everyone gets to flip 2 cards. Thank you, thank you.
I'm sorry, I stole the best cards.
Boss, so pulling my lapis, you say.
All right, so this is a positive flip. So, Ludovica, we have...
Well, I flipped a 2 and a 4. Am I not blessed? So I'm going to go with that.
We'll come back.
Right?
We'll come to Hortensia. Ludovica, what was your total?
Oh, sorry. I forgot my name.
The 13 minus 1.
12. 12's fine. You managed to hang on to one of the major bracings and do not lose your footing. Billum?
Cuddling up to some solid steel.
I've grabbed onto the heaviest thing I can, which
All
is
right, Edward, you've got a Billum hanging on to you. No, actually, you find some ballast, which were attached to many of the ropes that are used to kind of lift things up and down from the tower. So you grab onto like the ballast, which makes perfect sense. And yeah, you don't go anywhere either. Professor Scarpati.
Yeah, it's a might check, right?
Yes, if you do not have ranks in it.
Yeah, so in that case, it's an 11.
With an 11, you still manage to hold on as you kind of remember the cocoons are rather sticky and the like. So when you brace, you actually kind of use the actual cocoon remnants as a kind of like a foothold, knowing that it would likely stick to the ground and stop you from being thrown to one side. Edward?
Oh dear. I appear to have slipped, perhaps. I get an 8.
An 8. With an 8, you do indeed slip as you find yourself rolling on the floor and making your way towards the southern side of the building. As the wave has hit the northern side, the whole building is leaning in that direction. As you fling outwards, I need you to make... Oh, yeah? Is there
trying to keep the documents safe.
I'm trying to keep them...
Throw them back into the tower. They can't get wet. The ink's not dry.
All right, I need you to make me an evasion check now, as you are rolling towards the window of the tower.
Evade, you say?
Evade.
Yeah, you can choose a different skill.
No, that's fine.
No, sticking with evade.
Yep, I'm locking this in.
Must have something in my repertoire.
So you just threw all your papers.
Yeah, I
away.
threw them all out.
Objection!
I mean, technically speaking, you can object to yourself.
No, I
can't.
threw the papers into the tower.
Oh, very well. All right. The window shatters as Edward's large body collides with it, and you slide out onto the southern platform. Your legs stretch out in front of you, and you hit what appears to be a railing. Normally, this railing would be used to kind of like be about waist high, but because of the angle that you are now on, you are standing on the railing. It is the only thing supporting you currently, and you can see below you a rather impressive drop of a few. How big? How tall is Big Ben? I want to say, yeah. I want to. It's not going to be happy if he falls off. Let's just put it that way.
96
course-
meters.
What was that?
96 meters.
96
Or
meters. Damn. All right.
315 of your finest feet.
Yes, yes. All right. So, yeah, you can see that, and below, of course, you can see the Parliament House, or sort of stretching out, and it is kind of acting as a brace to the water that has hit Big Ben. Big Ben has absorbed the predominant brunt, and the waters are now rolling and are about a story high, and still very rapidly flooding the Parliament Square. All right. Next up, where are we at? Prima donna, Hortensia. What do we
Well,
get for her?
The prima donna Hortensia appears to be made of adhesive because because she cheats the 2 and the 4 that she took from this hateful deck and exchanges it for a 13, which is very
All right.
much nicer, and glues herself to the wall. There's ropes around. She kind of ties one around her arms like this, sort of hangs on.
Very well. You absolutely
Crooning
do so.
arias under her breath to calm herself.
Okay. All right. You do so. As you guys are now sort of in this state, Big Ben has now tilted on its axis. It is now ripping up from its roots and is currently at a 10-degree incline. Now, 10 degree doesn't sound very much, but for those of you who understand construction or building, 10 degrees is quite a thing to witness and to be a part of. So while you're moving through this area, you will need to make athletics or acrobatics checks to move from your current housing to another. You can, of course, remain where you are once you have successfully landed in a place. What would you guys like to do as you watch? Actually, Edward, what is your reaction right now? What's going through Edward's head right now?
The city needs to install higher railings, but also panic. Can I grab the railing and pull myself back onto the tower, or...
Okay, so let me paint a picture for you, if you will. So the tower is the tower is on an angle like this, and from this angle there is a platform, and then a railing that kind of goes like a hook,
Right.
almost, right? You're kind of on that little corner bit between the railing and the balcony. So you're not over the edge, but you feel as though if you incorrectly distribute your weight, the railing might give way, and then there would be nothing but a slide literally down to the fall.
Then I'm going to try and make my way along that railing to get to the corner, because it's a square, and then try and go up. I mean, yes, that's
Yep,
that's
no, I
the
see what you're
plan.
saying. All right, make me an acrobatics or an athletics check as you attempt to do so.
Well, those use might, right?
Might is right. Dexterity if you, grace if you're using acrobatics.
Well, that would be a 7.
A 7. You hear the sounds of the railing creaking as you slowly begin to make your way forward. You don't make it very far. You make it about maybe a yard or two before you stop, and you can see the railing in front of you sort of buckling.
Help! Help! Oh, I say help!
All right, inside.
So I would like to get close to the stairways and see if the impact of the water has killed the flames.
Looking at the stairways, it has indeed stifled most of the flames. There's still a reasonable amount of burning. Even the surface of the water is burning. For those of you who know physics, of course, moonshine that is on fire is actually igniting the vapors, not necessarily the fluid. So, and of course, alcohol floating on the surface of water, because it has a lower density, means that there's kind of rippling pockets of fire that are on top of the water inside the tower. The
Do I get
water
the
levels, however,
impression-
are slowly rising, but seems to have stopped about halfway.
Do I get the impression that the fire has resided enough to make your way downstairs?
Yes, but of course, as you would imagine, there is the stairways has been compromised by the flames and the impact.
Sure, sure, but at least we're not walking into
Fire. Yeah.
fire. So I would communicate that to the rest of them and say, well, it looks like there is a way to get down here, but where's the barista? I think Montegrave went out the window.
Oh yes, I think he's hanging onto the railing and yelling for help.
So you're saying that the barrister is hanging onto the banister. Excellent.
Yes.
do you have any
Can
ropes?
can
Yes,
someone
we have
grab any of the ropes of the bits there over there that Hargrave used to come up?
Oh God, do it.
Keeping in mind, you guys also do have Harriet, the union worker, the guild guardsman, and the nobleman who are all in this area as well. They are sporadically spread. They are spread around the space, and they have all managed to grab onto different things. The closest to the window that Edward is out is the guardsman. Harriet is over by where Scarpati gave the documents and the like, and the other two are just kind of centralized. To answer a question that was asked in our little player chat, Mrs. Ottoman is not here, nor anywhere to be seen. But we can deal with that a little bit later. She died. No, she's not. She might be. I mean, probably. Anyway, yes, that is it. What would you guys like to do?
With the instructions to grab the rope,
Mhm.
I'll grab the rope. And like the bravest of my people, proving that I have humanity, I will try and save Mr. Hargrave, Montague Sebastian the first.
All right. Make either an athletics or an acrobatics check as you bravely grab onto the mounted rope and repel yourself down the incline towards the window and outside into what is now becoming a very quick deluge of rain as well. Reaching out for Edward, who is pressed up flush against the wall, his feet dangling over the precipice of certain doom.
That's 2 flat.
Do you want to cheat?
I have nothing to cheat with, sir.
So, Billum flies out the window, and you basically watch as Billum strikes the railing hard.
No, don't do that.
And as it does so, the railing begins to buckle and give way. Because it is attached at an entire length, when Billum hits it, it starts to peel almost like wrapping paper, twisting metal as it pulls away from the actual balcony itself. Billum, you go straight over immediately, but you manage to grab on to the rail itself. Edward, you see that these bolts that are keeping the rail intact, as one by one, ping, 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 as the rail is weight.
So we all see that Billum goes out, because if I see that my trusted associate is in trouble, I will instantly run after him and try to save at least him.
Keeping in mind, Billum also is still tethered to the rope and the building itself. So while there's of course the imminent fall, Edward is of course still MVP when it comes to people in danger.
I would like
Ludwika.
to. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. No, my apologies. You did say Cigar
No.
Party wanted to rush off. I
No,
was gonna ask.
if he's still tethered, all I will do is I will additionally hold onto the rope.
Fantastic. All right. Ludovica, what do you do amongst the chaos and carnage?
Mostly just looking around, eyes wide, not believing what's going on, and then slowly trying to inch over and grab one of the ropes herself, if she can reach one of them, and
I'd
then
say
very
you-
hesitantly try to move closer to the probably very doomed Hargrave and Billum.
All right. Make an athletics or an acrobatics check as you begin to make your way over
Yes.
to a more advantageous
That's-
position to pull them back in.
I'm probably going to tumble after them because I'm really bad at this. What's that? That's 9, so I get an 8.
An 8? An 8 is fine. You make your way over and reach out. Edward, the undead hand of Ludovica reaches out from the window over to where you are.
Well, are you going to object?
No, of course not. Of course not.
Edward
gonna-
hastily grabs onto the arm, and with a mighty pull, Edward, you are drawn into the building. Your back is no longer near the open window, but Billum and the rope are still dangling out precariously. Hortensia,
Yes.
you and Scarpati are right next to where you can see the corpse of the Spring Heel Jack.
Yes.
There is suddenly a glow that seems to be emanating from his person, specifically his jacket. His body then lurches forward, rising almost as if a tether was drawn from his heart and is pulled sharply upwards. As it does so, you notice that his jacket stretches and strains against what appears to be a swelling, and a glow that seems to be embedded in his chest reveals what appears to be a huge soul stone, basically just jutting out of his pectoral muscle. His body begins to swell, and as it does, you hear the sounds of the tower creaking under a new weight. Eddie, who is of course our lovely technician, would you be so kind as to illuminate what our players see as
Our distraction.
Spring-Heeled Jack, his body bulks, his wings unfurl, his horns twist backwards,
Oh,
and his
no.
fangs grow large and fierce. This
What?
creature that now stands before you is probably more accurately the size of a camel, maybe in size, if for those of you who are familiar with camel size. It rises, and as it does so, it still seems to have like this missing eye that has overgrown and sort of partially healed. It turns its attention towards the team, and as it does, you hear it cry out.
Yes, I'm the same when I've just woken up.
Can I go back to the railing now, please?
All right, we are going to fly into initiative as we engage in battle with the, by the way, I want to point out, still quite devastatedly wounded Nephilim. What you are witnessing before Scarpati, you would recognize this right away, is an adult Nephilim or a mature Nephilim. The one from previously was a juvenile. The noteworthy features of this, from your experience with them, is they have a caustic blood known as black blood that is not only acidic, but also highly toxic to those who are infected by it. The only people really immune to it are, of course, the undead.
I really miss my gun.
I really miss my heartbeat usually, but right now I'm fine.
Well, fun fact: among the belongings that you did find, I did forget to mention because we were kind of interrupted in various ways. You would have also found both a long arm rifle and a pistol.
That's great. I'm not really trained with rifles, so I would just pick up the pistol.
Very well. You now are in possession of a very shiny pistol that belongs to the guild guardsman, who looks at the creature and is just stricken with fear. The Nephilim turns his attention to the poor individual and grabs him by the face before, in one fluid motion, ripping him in twain. All right. let's find out her initiative, shall we? Ludovica.
8.
8. Very well. All right. 8 for Ludovica. All right. Billum.
12.
12. Very nice. John.
7.
7. Edward.
7.
Okay. Who's got a higher initiative score between Edward and
I
John?
have +1.
0.
All right. Hortensia.
2.
2. And I believe without much in the way of no.
Holy moly.
A second one appears.
Yes, I had to copy the token to use for the initiative thing, and I spawned one that was a little too big, and it decided
Brought
to
a
explode.
pet.
All right, and the Nephilim has an initiative of 13, which of course it is going to use its first round to basically devour the bottom half of the guild guard that it had ripped apart. You watch as the upper body seems to still have a look of shock and awe. It still, as it's falling into the icy cold waves of the waters that run below in the stairwells to Big Ben, the look on the guard is one of confusion, not having any idea what just hit it. Meanwhile, the legs are being chewed on like chicken bones, basically, by this giant creature. All right, first up is Billum.
I'm still dangling.
Yep. You're swinging.
I'm going to attempt to swing, like get some momentum with the rope to try and swing myself up onto the platform.
I still have the rope. Can I assist him? Because I'm holding him in the tower.
Yes, you may. So you can make an athletics check with whatever rank. Oh, wait, no, you don't have ranks.
No.
Yeah, so you're helping.
Yeah, I'm helping.
That's not good.
Oh, sorry. I should also point out, guys, because again, we are in combat for this. If you want to, at any given time, you may focus in order to gain a positive flip on any action you want to focus on. So if you wanted to.
Definitely like to focus.
Or alternatively, you can just simply try again and take a second action to do so.
I'll try again before I fall off. And this time I will focus. Why do I keep doing that?
Well, focusing will take an action. You've got 2 actions.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Well, that's a 3.
All right. As you try to climb upwards, because you are still hanging onto the railings, your rope, you've kind of let go of the railing and now are dangling from the rope. This is making things incredibly difficult. But the worst part is that where the rope is kind of leaning out of the window, it was not an open window, but the broken glass that Edward had jumped out of. Meaning that as you are now swinging left and right from the wind that is currently whipping and lashing around you, the rope is slowly but surely beginning to fray. You have 3 turns to make it back up.
Can I just get clarification? Is below me ground or water?
Currently, at about 60 meters down, is then is about 30 meters of ice water. Now, I want to point out that you've seen this water at this speed strip the bricks and rooftops from buildings. So
I just want to know how painful my death is. That's all.
Oh yeah, super painful. If you've ever, fun fact: water is actually quite a powerful tool. For those of you who have ever experienced water pressure laser cutters and water pressure cutters and stuff like that, you feel as though you would almost be certainly thrown into something that, if the hypothermia doesn't kill you, being turned into mincemeat probably would. Cheers. All right. After Billum, we then go to none other than Ludovica, who is currently holding on to Edward, or not holding on, but, has helped him get into the building.
Yes, so she has one hand tightly wrapped around one of the ropes, and the other one is taken up by Edward, so she probably can't do anything, right?
Well, Edward's fine. Once you let him go, he's still inside the building. That won't matter.
So, which danger is more imminent? The Nephilim maybe deciding to chew on us, or Willem along with a rare soulstone dropping into the extra fabulous Thames today? You don't know which one's more imminent.
I
don't know.
I would
No one
probably
knows.
look. I mean, at the end of the day, it's always going to come down to fate as to which of these is going to happen first. Honestly, probably the most prominent thing you could probably see is that the bulk of this creature, if he continues to move around, might tip the tower with you all in it. Whereas Billum is, of course, an imminent peril, but I will let you know that your character would probably be able to see the rope and realize he's got a little bit of time. It's a thick rope, it's like one of those kind of big ones that you'd suspend a giant church bell from. So, it would take some time for it to cut all the way through, or at least enough that it would send him down.
Then Ludovica lets go of Edward and moves to a spot where she can basically face the Nephilim, because she's the only person not afraid of its breath or whatever's coming out of it, and goes, "Don't you dare!" Tries to intimidate a full-grown Nephilim.
Right. So what we're going to be doing here is what's called an imposition attack. Now, you are actually in a very advantageous position. The Nephilim actually have an aura of terrifying, which, if you are a living creature, means you need to make a willpower duel to even target this creature. However, because you are, of course, not a living creature, you can use your intimidate to attempt to impose on the creature. Because the creature is, of course, not really too prone to fearing things that it eats, you can, however, become a threat in the sense of he views you as a challenge, as something risky and dangerous, which will draw attention to you. It means that if he does anything to target anyone except you, he will take a negative flip.
That's okay.
Okay. So flip your intimidate then, as you attempt to impose the large creature.
I have nothing to cheat with, and it's an 8. That's a 9 in total.
A 9 in total?
I object. I have my papers back.
Then I've got a 9, and that's a 10 in total. So she's standing out there, her sopping wet dress. I know the water hasn't reached us yet. Her dress billowing, flipping up the veil. Hargrave yelling behind her, "I object!"
All right.
Don't you dare bring down this tower while I'm still in it.
All right. Let me just check on the imposing action. It is resisted by the target's centering skill. Now, these things don't have much in the way of centering. So...
At least I'm drawing aggro and tanking for the rest of you.
Very true. Centering of nothing. So it gets an 8 in order to resist you, plus centering, which is a tenacity. So 9, 10, 11 is the target number that you needed to reach.
Yeah, I just got a 10.
Which is just underneath what you needed.
Anyone want to help?
I mean,
well, that was only one action. You can take another action if you wish to try again.
Since I only have, then I'm going to. No, I need another action to draw the pistol if I want to use it. Then I'm just going to take that action to draw the pistol and strengthen my point.
Well, I was going to say, taking into account that you guys have been in a hostile situation, I'm more than happy to say that while you were running up, chasing after Jack, because remember, you did also take a pot shot against him while you were running up.
Yes, but I have had both my hands full with saving Edward just a moment ago.
You can hold things with a gun, yeah.
I'll take that, Michael. Thank you. Yeah. Then I'm just going to underline my my don't you dare with a bullet.
All right. Make your attack as you fire upon him.
That's a 12 plus 4 makes 16.
All right, with a 16, that manages to hit. And that is a negative flip. So flip 2, take the lowest.
That's whoop.
All right.
So,
that
a 3.
3 damage. All right. The damage goes through.
No, I flipped a 3, so that's low damage, right?
Yep, which is
Probably. That's a 2.
2. All right. As you shoot, you notice that the skin, the hide of this creature is a lot thicker. So you deal only 1 damage, but you have indeed penetrated its hide as you fire off at this creature. Blood begins to pour from the wound, and as it does, it sprays out in an area. You watch as the union worker, who is near enough, is splashed with some of it. He cries out in pain as he's hit, and quickly moves to a cover spot. He's not overly injured. He's taken 1 point of damage, but again, he's now realized he's in a lot more danger than he seems. Edward, it is your turn.
I am sick of this nonsense. I try and shoot him badly. 10? No, 9. 9.
You need a 12 to hit him, I'm afraid. Oh, wait, sorry.
Yes.
No, don't touch anything. That is actually your terrifying jewel. So that'll be a willpower jewel, because you are targeting the creature, and you are indeed a living creature.
Oh,
This
in which
creature-
case,
Mhm.
it's 12.
That means you succeed, which means you may target the creature. So as you pull out your gun and you point it in his direction, this is a predator from another world. You steady your arms as you take aim.
I shot you once, I can shoot you again. 11.
You need a 12. All right. You fire, and this time it bounces off his horn. At this point, the creature turns its head towards Edward. You can see its injured eye still not having healed properly. And it says,
I remember you.
Really? You're the first person who has ever remembered me. Oh,
he's so happy.
oh.
Yeah, we're going to be shipping the giant creature and Edward from now on. All right, John, it is your turn. The large beast is looking towards Edward quite angrily.
Yeah,
I'm thinking about what the shipping name would be. Edfilum?
Neffelgue.
Neffelward.
Filtergue. Neftigue. So I'm still holding the rope, and I see that it is slowly being shredded by the glass. So I would like to, by letting myself technically slide a bit along the rope, I would like to slide towards the window and put my head under the rope and between the rope and the glass, so that it doesn't get, or at least that I can buy some time for Billum to climb back up.
Sure. Make an athletics or an acrobatics check as you make your way down. You can get an advantage on this as you are using the rope to climb in that direction. Very nice. All right, that is a 12 on the flip.
Yeah, but 0, so it's 12.
Yep, 12 is perfectly fine. You make your way down, and as you do, you take off your hat. You actually use the brim of your hat to sort of wipe the windowsill, shattering the glass completely so there's less jagged edges, then placing your hat underneath. It has indeed halted the slicing and cutting of Billum's rope for the time being, but it is now compromised and still frayed. It'll buy him more time, absolutely, but if he doesn't get in, he is definitely going to be in for a midnight swim. All right. Next up is none other than Ludovica. No, sorry, Hortensia. I got the name wrong that time.
That's okay. I would like to create an illusion.
Okay.
So, um, yes, as we're all there and the wind and the rain are coming through and there's this chaos everywhere and Billum is hanging out the window and rock-chested Jim is now smashing around everywhere. You hear this sort of splash, 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 cooey, and a lady Nephilim appears. I made him a girlfriend. She looks just like him, but she's wearing lipstick and eyeliner. And she has two little blonde curls just between the horns here. And she says, cooey, like this. Yes.
I can't. This is no.
All right. What is the willpower to overcome this this illusion, by the way?
That is an excellent question. I will tell you that momentarily.
Okay. Well, let's see if you conjure this illusion first and foremost, because we are in combat.
That's
you
true.
are on Earth, so casting magical spells will come at a negative flip. However, to counter that, you may focus before you cast your spell in order to do a straight flip to try and conjure it. There should be a
Okay.
target number that you need to reach with your flip when you make your spell.
That sounds definitely like something there should be. Yes, indeed. She says, desperately looking through her character sheet to find that number. TN 10, willpower
Yep.
disbelieve.
Yep, and to cast the spell it should be a TN 10 of tomes. Is that correct? If
Yes.
you look on your yeah.
I'm
All
gonna
right,
say
so
yes.
all right, so flip a card to see if you cast this spell.
That would be a negatory.
All right. As you cast the spell or attempt to, magic pops and sizzles in your hand. It's not that you didn't cast the spell beautifully, my dear. It is the fact that you are on a very steep incline amongst the raving and the rocking. One can scarcely hear themselves think, let alone cast such a delicate spell as the one performed by the prima donna.
I like to think that she almost gets it up the stairs and then you just hear and she disappears.
That specifically makes that noise.
Yeah.
All right. The Nephilim. The Nephilim looks over at Edward Hargrave. And as he does, he flies out the window, almost looking like he's charging towards Edward with his huge wings. And as he collides with the side of the building, the glass shatters outwards. I need an evasion check from Billum, Scarpati, and Edward. All right, well, this is a good sign. So that is a 4 for who drew that one?
Me.
All right. Now don't worry, because I have to reshuffle the deck. Therefore, everyone gets to draw a card and add it to their hand from their twist deck.
I get to do some amazing things when this happens.
All right, tell me what you get to do.
I get to look at the top 3 cards of the deck and replace them in a certain order.
All right, let's show it so that the audience can see what those 3 are as well. So,
Oh my goodness.
all right, you can put them in any order you desire.
I would like to go 1 on the bottom, 3, then 6.
All right, this is part of his powers as a wastrel.
That's right. I also get 2 cards instead of 1 when this happens.
All right. Okay, and what do the rest of you get for your evasion checks? So we got 4 for Edward, 6 for Billum, and a 3 for Scarpati.
I would like to cheat.
You may cheat. Cheating it with a 10. All right, not a problem.
Yes.
Not a problem at all. All right. So, Professor, you managed to avoid the oncoming flying Nephilim. Billum, your total was
13.
You also managed to avoid the shower of glass that come over you. Edward, what did you get?
5.
Oh, you need a 7. Nada?
It's 5.
All right. Well, here's a question. Do you have ranks in evade?
1.
Okay, never mind then. Because I was going to say, I think the lawyer actually has an ability that says if you try to do something that you don't have ranks in and you fail, you actually get to draw cards.
Yeah. No,
All right.
5, and I can't even cheat it up.
Well, this Nephilim basically rugby tackles Edward out the window, which then the window shatters, and you find yourself in the air high above London, held aloft by this creature. As you can see the portals that are appearing all over the skies, roaring water coming through, you look down and it's almost like a typhoon of waves beneath you. Instinctively, in order to avoid falling, you clutch onto the forearm of this creature, as it's the only thing keeping you from this horrible death. You are only a short 2 yards away from the building itself. Billum, if you kicked off or got some momentum from a swing, you believe you might be able to reach Edward. And I say might very loosely. Edward, what's your reaction to this?
He has remarkably defined biceps, I must say. He obviously works out. He's terrified, and from here, I suppose he's looking out over all of London. I mean, it's a spectacular view, but he's not going to let go. Maybe yes, because raging water down below, no chance of reaching a balcony. No, he's holding on.
All right, you clutch. Billum, it is your turn next.
The word might is not in my vocabulary, so I will use a kickoff to swing out and try and grab onto Edward, wherever it may be, on his person.
Please grab his wig. All right. So, Billum, make your athletics check or acrobatics check as you swing out to try and grab Edward.
That's a 1.
There is a straining noise, Professor Scarpati, as so that's just a 1 in total.
In total.
You hear a distinct snap sound.
That was my shoulder.
As the rope breaks. And Billum, can you make me another athletics check?
Mm-hmm. I would prefer not to, but okay. That's a 10. Not too bad.
So, Edward, you feel a tug on your boot.
What are you doing, you bastard? Oh,
I'm trying to save you.
He's taking off your other shoe.
All right.
Wait, if he's hanging on to the boot, did he pull off the boot and the sock on the other foot? So he's just finishing the job.
That's it. So basically, Edward, your second boot is starting to slip off because you've lost one already.
Leave my shoes alone.
If I possibly can, I will hurry up.
All right. Well, that was only one action, by the way, Bill. And you do have a second one.
Well, I want to scurry up him. Charge, if you would, up Edward.
All right. I'm going to say that you've made the athletics check. So you scurry up Edward. You get to about his sort of shoulders, and you can see the claw. Now, understand, like the hand itself is palming Edward's upper body with one hand. So you eventually get to the claws of this creature, which aren't digging into Edward, but have wrapped around him, and use that to kind of pull yourself up. You are kind of hanging on the edge of the fist, sort of like, hello.
I'm gonna bite the hand.
Are you gonna pull at the hand?
I'm gonna bite it.
Are you gonna bite it? All right, let's start with the first step, which is, of course, this creature is terrifying. It's looking at you, and you're looking at it. You see its huge, immense fangs, and you're like thinking about biting it, but the thought in the back of your head is, oh, what if it bites me? Make a willpower duel.
Oh, that's not good. Oh, that's pretty good. What's that? That's a king +2. That's 15, yes?
That is, yeah. That is, as well, you beat a 12, so perfect. Make your attack.
What is a bite?
I'd say it's a melee. Or I mean, look, okay, I'll give it melee or pugilism. I know it's not technically pugilism, but I will allow pugilism. Or martial arts as well. That's another one I'll use, like goblin
I'll
fu.
take martial arts.
Yep, I'll allow those ones.
Oh, what do I do?
No way.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. For whatever it's worth, the fang digs deep and bites into the finger and clips a nerve, which forces the because you were trying to get him to let go, I imagine, right?
That was the thought process, and now that I've thought about it, that was a bad idea.
Well, he is absolutely going to let go. That's 100% what's going to happen. You deal maximum damage, which for your bite, because do you have any ranks in martial arts or
I
any
have
other one?
6 in martial arts.
Any ranks?
Oh, two ranks in martial
2 ranks. Okay. So with 2 ranks in martial arts, that leaves you with the damage of. What's your max damage?
My max damage. Well, I don't have bite as a weapon.
Okay, so your bite damage for your martial arts, let me just have a look here, is, assuming you have 2 ranks, is 4. So you deal 5 points of damage. Holy hell. All right, well, you actually kill this creature with a single bite to its finger. I'm gonna flavor this a little bit differently and say that you didn't bite the finger per se, but you actually bit the wrist of the creature. And so voracious was the bite attack that you didn't actually get it to release its grip. You instead severed the hand from the creature, who then plummets into the water, holding its stump as Billum does this. Now, Billum, first of all, you and Edward take 1 point of damage from the black blood that is now burning you from having made a melee attack. It sprays over you and it burns quite painfully. We then watch as the 2 of you begin to fall. All right, what happens at this point, guys? I mean, is there a train of thought? I mean, what's happening? What's your reaction, Billum?
As we begin to fall, I will try and turn so that Edward is on the bottom to somewhat cover.
You're using him as a cushion. All right.
I'm going to try and grab him and put his face forward towards the water. Thank you very much.
All right. So before we get too deep into this free fall that's happening, okay, the creature is obviously gone. You guys are now out of initiative. Because you're out of initiative, everyone gets to discard as many cards as they wish from their hand and redraw back up to 3.
Oh my.
So you may do this before we proceed any further. All right. Which is always fun when this happens because Eddie has to make all the adjustments on the stream.
That's my card up my sleeve as a 10 there for anyone that requires it.
All right.
Did I take any damage when it dragged me out the window?
You did not. It was more of a reposition than it was a an actual damage claw or anything like that. All right. Okay. So, as you are beginning to fall and plummet downwards, well, actually, you know what? We're going to come back to that. I feel like I can leave you guys hanging, literally. So on the inside, John, you see Billum, the rope as it breaks, and then you watch as he cuts off the hand and begins to fall. What's your reaction? What happens to?
No. So as I see the rope snaps, I desperately start to dig in my pockets, and I pull out, because I have this I have this attachable grappling hook that I can fire with my gun. And I'm trying to push that into my gun and aim at the two falling. Now, I'm very sorry, this might hurt a bit, but at least, you know, falling to death. And I would like to fire the grappling hook at one of them.
Okay, you are going to fire the grappling hook at one of them. Make your ranged attack with whichever weapon you have attached your grappling hook to as you...
Well, I
fire it
would
down
love
towards
to,
them.
but I can't pull a card here.
Oh, you can't? Oh, sorry, give me 2 seconds. Yeah, try again.
Oh, interesting. That's a 10 of masks, right?
A 10 of masks. Yes, that is a 10 of masks.
Okay, so I have a trigger when I pull a mask, which is ricochet. Does that mean that I can ricochet the grappling hook to one and then onto the other?
Yes, it does.
Oh, interesting.
By some
okay.
incredible miracle, Professor Scarpati, as you launch your grappling hook, not only do you fire it and basically it penetrates Billem's waistcoat, and it flies around and penetrates the robes and wraps around Edward at the same time. The two of them, their weight is quite incredible, and they lurch you forward. But because you're on the inside of Big Ben, you kind of are braced. The rope now swings inward as the two of you are falling in a free fall for a while before the rope's tension sort of gives. You hear basically you can't hear anything over the sound of the screaming, like it's like this horrible sound as you swing then inwards towards the base of Big Ben. You hear the sounds of concrete breaking and bricks cracking as the incline increases to 15% on Big Ben from the weight being now pulled multiple times to the one side. Ludovica, what are you doing as you see this?
Gaping, mostly, mouth open. And then is
Jaw
there any
drops to
way
the
I can?
ground.
Yes, is there any way I can try and help Scarpati to keep the
Please,
dangling
this is
people from
hurting.
dropping to the death? Because I think
Absolutely.
he's a little bit out of weight by them.
Absolutely.
And, yeah.
You
Ludovica drops her gun into her handbag and then tries and
Right.
she's
You
not very
grab-
strong either. Also, if she gets herself hurt, she doesn't heal. She has to repair. It's not fun.
All right, you grab hold and hold fast as Scarpati strains against the breaking of the side of the building. What do we get for our athletics?
7.
All right, you're holding on tightly, but the building is continuing to shift and move in weight.
Yes, her heels make a noise when she's being dragged across the floor.
Hortensia?
I would like to assist as well.
Very
I
well.
deign to
You-
offer my assistance.
you
So I
rush
move
up.
over. Now I am not strong, but I am incredibly heavy. So what I would like to do is not use my strength. I would like to hold on to them and just lean backwards. Can I do that? Can I be ballast?
Sure. I will allow you to be ballast, and you will give them an advantage on their particular stuff. What I will also
Wonderful.
allow you to do is I will allow you to make either a bewitch or a convince check, or a leadership check if you wish to convince the union worker and the journalist to leave the confines of their safety and come help as well.
I will bewitch them with my bewitchedness. Yeah, gonna do that.
All right.
I am incredibly bewitching. Did you know that?
Oh, I did.
I am 13 flavored bewitching.
Very well. Very
Yes.
quickly, the
that,
Harriet
come
and this union worker quickly move over. Professor, you are surrounded by about 4 people who are assisting in pulling the weight, but now all the
Yes,
weight
hold that
distribution
back.
in the actual building is now on that window, and it is tilting heavily. Edward, you are hanging at the end, dangling on your last rope. Far below, you can see the top of the Parliament House. And as you cast your gaze down upon it, you can see a small platoon of what look to be maybe firemen or soldiers of some kind. They seem to be pointing in your direction and waving their hands, trying to get your attention.
I look at the 5 of them. What are they doing?
Now the waters have been rapidly increasing. They seem to be pointing towards what appears to be a large building that has been dislodged from the street. It is making its way down the Thames. He is pointing towards it, and sort of making sort of a gesture like this, sort of.
I look at the building, then, because I'm assuming by this point there is some serious spooning going on with the little gremlin.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the only polite thing to do at a time like this. There's holding and clutching. Yeah. Oh God. Why do I always end up saying this? Could you thrust us to there? Can you do something? It looks like they want to land us there.
I'll thrust as hard as I can.
Be gentle.
All right, make an athletics check. Because you are
Can
being
we
stabilized.
both thrust at the same time?
Yes, because you are both thrusting at the same time. You're co-thrusting.
We use a different word.
Never.
Bucking.
Okay.
All
I
right,
got what I asked for.
Very well.
I was the one saying phallic all the time. Last
Very well.
session.
No, it's fine. No, I am listening to my players as you undulate, to the towards the west. Sorry, to the east. You can get an advantageous flip. So flip twice. Take the highest.
7.
You can cheat by discarding a card and using Billem's 10 that he currently has available to everyone to cheat with, or you can cheat with one of your own cards. Need a 9.
And it's using grace or might?
Either or. Yeah.
I'm going to steal your card.
Do it.
All right, so I'm going to steal his card. You say I needed a 9?
Yep. So you have to discard a card, and then you get to steal Billem's 10 from his hand.
Yeah.
And with that, you manage to swing. And as you do so, you find yourselves careening through the air. Scarpati, you can see kind of what they're doing. The question is do you slowly release the slack, or do you kind of hang on tightly?
No, I would slowly release the slack.
All right. As it does so, a couple of swings, you lower by about 10 yards, and then you lower again by 10 yards. And then as this building is sort of literally floating down the Thames, you manage to get both feet and roll as you hit the building. The two of you are safe. However, as the building is now carrying you, you can see the soldiers on Parliament House saying, "You need to get off there quick! Grab on!" They seem to be very quickly and rapidly getting a series of ladders and making a makeshift bridge across, reaching out over to the Thames. Now, there's no one long bridge that's obviously going to reach from the roof of Parliament House across to where you guys are, but they have jerry-rigged a whole bunch of them together. It kind of almost looks like one of those comedy ladders that you'd see in a circus that have been sort of made to look super precarious. The problem is, this is probably very precarious. As they lean it over and they put all their weight to counterbalance you as this dangling ledge exists in front of you.
No, wait. We're going to hold the rope so that the others can climb out of Big Ben down onto this floating building, and then we can all cross the ladder. At least that's my thinking.
You can. The building is the building that you're on is traveling fast. If you hang on to them, you will likely pull them out of the. Yes, you will likely pull them out of the tower.
Well, they can secure it and then slide down. Well, that's my thinking anyway.
Oh, no, that's a great point. That's a great point. Now, the question is how do you communicate that?
Oh, he doesn't. He's just
would like to-
dolphin through the air riding a gremlin. He is not about to say anything publicly.
Very well. In which case, you hang on dearly to the rope. Professor Ludovica and Primadonna, you can see that they have safely made it onto the building, and they are indeed holding on as quick, as tightly as they can. What is it that the three of you would like to do?
Not die.
Can Scarpati, I'm at the back, I can't see anything. Can Scarpati see the fireman?
Yeah, can I see the fireman?
From where you are, yes. Following where Billum has gone and following where sort of like where they're kind of pulling out the ladder, you can definitely see these individuals.
Well, also, if we would jump into the water, just assuming, this is all happening in my head right now. I think, what if I would jump into the water, still holding to the rope? Would I survive the fall and the impact, and B, would they be able to pull me to them?
You would not be able to survive the impact from this height.
Yeah,
if you were lower, you definitely would. Let's make an engineering check from everyone if you guys would like to.
I'm not even going to try.
Only engineering I know is about corsetry.
And the kind of engineering I know is usually where do you put the valves on this corpse? Hoping not to have to do
the
this.
Wrist bone connected
quite
to
so
the
soon.
arm bone.
The arm bone connected to the head bone.
If I don't have engineering, what would
wristwatch.
that be? Intelligence?
Yes, engineering is an intelligence check if you do not have any ranks in it.
Well, then it's a 9.
9's fine. So, knowing and seeing exactly how they're holding it, you know that falling from this height would be impossible to survive. However, there is a way to obviously lower the height of the building before you were to evacuate from it. Looking at the central plinth in Big Ben, if you were to mount or tie the rope and cause Big Ben to collapse even a little bit further, you may be able to use the tension in the rope if it were attached to the actual building that they're riding on to create a zip line, allowing you to potentially zip line down to the building that they're in. However, currently Hargrave and Billum are holding the rope, which wouldn't obviously work. You would pull them into the river. But if you can communicate that to them.
Yeah, I would use, because I think we have those communication rings, right?
Yes, the Avalon Society signet rings.
Right. So I would use my signet ring, and I would say, Billum, can you hear me? Well, I assume, yeah, you can. Okay, great. Look, tie the rope to something that can hold our weight, and I must say, the prima donna needs to come down this rope as well. So make sure that it is tightly to something. We are coming down the rope. Secure it.
Should I could tie it to Edward.
All right. You can see that not only that he's gesturing to Edward, but you can also see Scarpati sort of going, no. As with most buildings from London, you can actually also see a series of
Chimneys.
Michael. Chimneys, thank you. Chimneys that seem to be jutting from the top of this particular building that seem to be relatively intact.
Then I'll quickly jog on over to one of these chimneys, wrap it around several times, and use like the grappling hook to hook it onto the top of the chimney.
Very well. Inside the chimney, as you imagine in the flume, there is actually a grate that usually keeps birds out. You snag the grappling hook onto the top of that. Edward, what are you doing as he's doing this?
Still holding the rope, making sure that it doesn't fall out of his hands and drop into the river.
Right. All right. As you fix the rope, there is a terrifying sound as the entire building that you are on suddenly lurches to a stop and spins, pivoting as the waters realign and redistribute the weight of the building as it's now pulling on Big Ben. The building itself begins to tilt even more, and as it does so, the tension on the rope appears. Um, as this whole setup is now stretching, you hear another sound of Big Ben cracking, and you watch as the once singular piece has now split and is now tilting. Big Ben has been cut at about a third of the way up.
Oh dear.
And that is where we're going to stop for today's game. And we will return next week to find out if our heroes will survive their deadly encounter to attempt the world's first extreme zipline. Thank you so much, of course, to my lovely audience for coming and joining us live today. If you did, of course, as always, we appreciate any and all support that you have given to the channel in the form of donations and channel point usage or any of that sort of stuff. If you are watching this after the show, of course, don't forget you can always donate at any point in time. Your support, your love, and your charity keeps shows like this going and helps us feed the editor, who is currently still trapped and working hard from behind the scenes. Aren't you, Eddie? He can't respond because we don't let him respond. Anyway, before we farewell our players, of course, let's find out where we can find this amazing cast of people around the interwebs. Starting, of course, with Till. Till, tell us, where can we find you?
Well, you can find Dungeon Fog on dungeonfog.com or using Dungeon Fog on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, probably more, which I can't think of. But just look for Dungeon Fog, you will find us there.
Very cool, very cool. Myri, always awesome to have you aboard. Where do we find your stuff?
I'm just going to drop how it's spelled in the chat because it's very German. Orkenspalter TV. That's where we are and what we do.
Excellent, excellent. And you can find a whole bunch of really cool stuff there, even if you don't speak English. Especially if you don't speak English. Even if you don't speak German, you can find a whole bunch of really cool stuff there. Like I think you were doing a playthrough of Jade Empire recently.
Oh yeah,
that's been a lot of fun. It's been a trip down memory lane for me. Anthony, where can we find you?
You can find me over at Roll for Damage here on Twitch, where you can find us playing a myriad of different D&D games.
Very cool, very cool. And Janet, where can we find you and your any award-winning, beautiful, wonderful, amazing product?
Well, you could go to worldanvil.com, create a free account, and start world building right now, creating campaigns, managing your campaigns, everything else. And then you'll find my face in all the tutorials telling you how to use it. Otherwise, if you type in @worldanvil anywhere, you'll find us. YouTube, Twitch, we stream a lot. And this weekend, we are going live, we being the great GM down there, and face words are hard. Till from Dungeon Fog and Kaora the map maker and Michael is popping in for a stream as well. We're going to be going live with a Game Masters Masterclass. So if you are a GM, if you would like to be a GM, if you've ever thought of GMing and you'd like to take that next step, then tune in for our free 2-day masterclass where we have experts guiding you through every part of the process, and they'll teach you to be as great as Michael, or almost.
You're just buttering me up because you don't want to die. So
I don't care if I die. It's fine. I'll come back as another giant opera singer and crush your face. It's not a problem.
All right. Well, and last, of course, but certainly not least, the great GM himself. Guy, where can we find you and all of the awesome things that you are involved in?
Well, you can find me at greatgamemaster.com, where that links to everything else that we have. And yes, of course, the Circle of World Builders this weekend. You do need to sign up if you want to participate in the Sunday event, which is where you submit your adventure ideas and maps and world creation projects and then they get reviewed and critiqued and added to and fawned over because they're going to be hopefully brilliant. So yes, please go and sign up at circleofworldbuilders.com.
Fantastic. And I, of course, have been your game master or fate master for today. My name is Michael, and I am the Dead Aussie Gamer. You can find my face pretty much anywhere you can type Dead Aussie Gamer on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. I run a whole bunch of games. I perform on a whole bunch of different channels. So yeah, look around. You'll find me from place to place. At the moment, I think this is the only game I've got active at the moment. But yeah, stay tuned through the months of July and June. I will be putting up a few more projects as well. And of course, we cannot go anywhere without giving proper thanks to, of course, our host, the Mercs of Mischief, who also provide a wonderful myriad of fantastic and incredible games for you guys to watch, including Too Many Warlocks, the Mercs of Mischief themselves, the Avalon Knights, which are, of course, another version of the Avalon Society, but done in a more fantasy setting, and of course the Hero Factory series, where you get to go and watch people playing around with Hero Forge, which is a awesome little bit of kit that people have been enjoying recently. Cool. And of course, to give a shout out to the man behind the scenes, Eddie, the wonderful and amazing individual. If you ever want to come and check out what Eddie's up to, you can go over onto Twitch and check out his stuff at Tabletop Explorers as well. Thank you so much, guys, again for being a part of this, and thank you as always for staying tuned and watching our show. Till next time, from all of us to you, game hard or die trying. Bye-bye.
Bye.